I was 2 years old, and then my little brother, he was 1 year old at the time. My dad told us that he was going to cut the grass later in the afternoon. But me and my little brother, we were excited and ready to be good little Mexican boys and just cut the grass, you know? But me and my little brother decided to go grab the gallon of gasoline. It was on a high shelf, and I climbed it, and it was a full gallon of gasoline, so I couldn't pick it up. I just pulled it down, it spilled all over the ground, and it reached a water heater that was on the other end of the room, which ignited the fire. We don't know the full story because my parents weren't in that room watching. We stayed in there long enough to where we ended up getting burnt. My little brother got burnt from the legs down, and I got burnt basically over 65% of my body. The shock of everything put me into a coma. I think I was gonna wake up, but the doctors left me in that coma so my body can just focus on healing. There were 3 people that got burnt that day. Me, primarily, then my little brother Daniel, and then my dad when he went inside the fire, butt-ass naked, to pull me out. He grabbed me while I was still on fire, and he torched his arms and his chest. I know at least my dad does somewhat blame himself, because he's the dad, he's the primary protector of the household. But it was when he wasn't looking, he was literally almost out the door. Meanwhile, the relationship between me and my siblings, it's always strong. Everyone always viewed me as normal within my family, so they didn't give me a special treatment. If I deserved a whooping, I would get a whooping, just like all my other siblings, because I was a bad kid. My childhood was normal for the most part with social life, going to school, but mine was different from all the other kids because I was constantly going to the hospital. I remember it was almost every month or every 2 months I would be in the hospital for a checkup or maybe even a surgery. I even specifically remember during like my 2nd grade, I missed like a month or 2 of school because the doctors wanted to fix my toes, so they put nails in them and I couldn't walk. But my teacher was sending me the grades, so I couldn't escape the exams and the tests, sadly. But overall, my childhood was for the most part normal if you exclude, constantly having surgeries. In terms of medical care right now, I've been primarily focusing on fixing the nose. This was a very intense surgeries. The nose is something that continues to develop when you're in adolescence, so they didn't want to touch that and then stunt the growth. So my doctors ended up waiting until after I finished growing. I had 4 surgeries, 3 on the nose, 1 on the neck. The nose, the first surgery put me out of commission for almost a month. They added human cartilage from a human carcass into the nose. They removed or did a forehead flap where they pull the skin from the forehead and flip it over. This side of my nose didn't exist before, so they ended up using that forehead flap here, and this is part of my forehead, which is now my nose. And then the second part, they filed the cartilage once it's healed. I have titanium plating and screws on my face now, and I'm just waiting for the swelling to go away. They removed the excess forehead skin that they had right here. That's where you can see this scar. So that's the main thing I was focusing on. As for the neck, we added more skin on the neck so that I could have more mobility because it was extremely tight. And then even more recently, literally this morning, I started to have laser surgeries to help expand the scars that I have right now to avoid having to do more skin grafts. If you look at my arm, it looks really red, has a lot of red squares. Each one of those squares has like 16 by 16 micro holes that were made by a laser. So it's like maybe 50,000 tiny holes in my arm with a laser. It's also really red because it's basically like 2-degree burns to make those laser holes. And hopefully like that I don't have to do a skin graft because I don't really have that much skin left. All I can really do is pull from my thigh, which I've been doing that for over a decade already. So to end up reducing that, I had those laser surgeries done, even on my new scar right here, to make it kind of fade away a little bit. And then I also was no longer a child because I used to go to a children's hospital, so I didn't have any surgeries until more recently. When I was a kid, I was going to Shriners Hospital, which is a children's hospital, and at the time I was covered under Medicare or something like that. So most of my surgeries ended up being fully paid for by them. But after a while, our financial standing personally was improving, so we could no longer use Medicare like we could. and that affected how many surgeries I could receive in a year. The hospital was still going to pay for it, but now it becomes even more expensive for them. So they weren't helping nearly as much, unless it was something that was necessary. They would just do it no matter what. But instead of scheduling like 4 surgeries a year, I would get 2 or 1 sometimes. So it was a little tougher. Where it really got bad was after I became an adult. There's no charity hospitals for adults. So by the time I was 19, I could no longer really get any surgeries. And there was a span of 4, close to 5 years where I didn't get any surgeries. And that time, that's when I was in college. So I ended up getting a nice degree and got into a good career. And I have health insurance now. Your health issues don't just end with like 1 or 2 surgeries. Scars end up contracting over time. They get tighter. And that could affect your bone structure, your muscles. For some people, it causes pain. So it's a constant upgrading of the body. And that's why the financial endowment is something that I want to work on, because I know it's like a lifelong project for most burn patients, and I want to help. I think one of the most unique things about my situation is that I really like surgeries. I don't view surgeries as a negative thing. I view them as me improving my life. I had my life as a burn survivor. So anything I do from then on is always an improvement. When I go to the hospital, it's not like I broke something else and I'm now fixing it. It's like something's already broken and I'm gonna fix that. So right before going into surgery, I'm always excited, ready to get going. Also, the anesthetic helps a little bit, gets you a little high. So there's that plus side. But then once I end up healing, seeing the results, that's probably the biggest thing. So yeah, I always try to build relationships with my doctors, because I'm basically going to put my life in their hands. They're the ones that are going to try to improve my life, and I want to have some type of relationship with them. We're going to be working on this project that I call Sergio Reyna for a while. The newest doctors that I got right now are here in Dallas, Texas, which is where I reside. And I've met a few of those doctors now. They told me that they would probably need 30 to 40 more surgeries before I have full functionality of my body. So, we're a team, and building a relationship with your team is important. I've been getting a lot of messages on social media, especially with my recent growth on TikTok, where I almost have like 300,000 followers. There's a lot of people that end up messaging me about their personal life, either as burn survivors or something else, and they just don't know how to progress in life socially. That's one of the biggest things that people with disabilities ends up struggling. And to people like you, I want you to either reach out to me or just a friend or a family member, and something as basic as going out, getting food with other people, friends, maybe study groups if you're still young and studying. Something like that slowly builds up relationships, and relationships is what will probably help you a lot in life. Those are the people that you're going to rely on. And I feel like a lot of people with disabilities and disfigurements, that's something that they struggle a lot with. And that's something that I personally struggled with as well. Even though I'm conversational, that awkward stage when someone first meets me makes me almost not want to continue that conversation. I've definitely had insecurities because of the way I look, but that's more interpersonal, where I just feel uncomfortable with my body because it's constantly causing different types of pains, and it's a struggle to get the fixes. I think one of the things that I want people to view about me is that I am a normal person. One of the things that a lot of people that are able-bodied that they don't really notice is that they do stare at people with disabilities, or they kind of don't know how to approach. So one of the few struggles that I have had in life is initiating relationships with people, because people feel awkward, and when they feel awkward, we're going to end up feeling awkward. For the most part, I'm good at conversation, so once the conversation gets going, I'm fine. But that beginning stage is always awkward for me and for many other people. We're normal, we just happen to have a scar or a disability, depending on the case scenario. But if you are able to reach out, build those relationships, you will end up greatly improving your standing as a survivor. When trying to open a a conversation. You will end up facing an awkward stage, even between normal, healthy people that don't look different. And it's up to both individuals to break that down. When it comes to someone with disabilities, if you already opened yourself up, it all relies on them if they want to end up pursuing that conversation and potentially the relationship, whatever that may be, whether romantic, friendship, or colleague relationship is also one there. Because if you are reserved, people are not going to want to approach you. So opening up is a good factor, trying to reach out to people. One of the things that has greatly helped me a lot is posting on social media, because that's basically what helped me improve my communication skills, because I'm talking to a whole bunch of people, and then it builds up your confidence a bit, and it lets you attract people with your positive energy. If you don't want to show your face online, that's perfectly fine. Try to build some type of hobby that gets you around people, whether it's dancing, going to the gym, skiing, or some other stuff. If you're able to be surrounded by people, you'll slowly end up building those relationships. So on social media, you always have to take a lot of stuff that people say with a grain of salt. You're gonna have your usual trolls. Even if you're not disfigured or disabled, you're gonna have someone messing with you. You just have to ignore them. I do see some of those every now and then, but if you ignore them and you understand that what they're saying shouldn't have any effect on you because it's not true. As for in real life, people are almost never gonna say anything to your face that is rude, because they know that everybody else would stand up for you. In real life, it's more of that they don't know how to approach you. So that one's a little bit different. That goes back to the prior question of trying to reach out and build relationships. I have 3 primary goals in life. Number 1 is improve my body as much as I can. So with that one, I think I'll be able to at least have as much mobility as I can with the body that I was dealt with. My second goal in life is to generate financial wealth for my family, generational wealth, so that we don't have to struggle with money, which is something that we used to struggle with when I was younger. And then my third goal, probably the one that's going to be the hardest to do, I want to make a financial endowment, which is basically like a charity / fundraiser, but mine will focus on helping other burnt patients with their financial needs so that they could get their cosmetic, functional surgeries and physical therapy to improve their lives. Because I know from my life how tough it can be to go through surgeries and having to cover the financial aspects as well. It can get very expensive. So if I could somehow make some type of charity, fundraiser, endowment, that I'm gonna probably be starting that within 10 years, hopefully. Always try and improve your life, whether that is physically, like in my case, mentally, health-wise, financially. If you're always trying to make sure that you're living a good life, that means that you are able to make sure that everyone else around you is also enjoying their life. Because if you're slowly going downhill and not able to make yourself live as long as possible, you cannot help those that you love.